You just got wrecked.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Monday. That's right, back on the grind. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Having a look at what is going on right now, it is a beautiful green day across the board. Bitcoin up 1.45% and a lot of the altcoins doing quite well. You can see Ethereum over 3%, EOS over 5%, Litecoin 6.5%. So very nice Monday over here. In fact, if we have a look, you actually notice that Bitcoin has been trying to break out of this sort of resistance that's been holding us down. We tried right here. We got up to about $9,313 and we did get stomped out, but we are still trying to push upwards as we speak. So I do want to talk about what to expect with this Bitcoin movement, especially in the very immediate future, like within the next 24 hours. We're definitely going to talk about that. I also want to discuss that the institutions are in fact putting in a lot more longs, okay, and the volume is increasing. Plus, I want to talk about how much Bitcoin do you realistically need to own to, most likely be financially free forever, essentially. So that's what we're talking about today. If that sounds good to you, well, you know what to do. Also, if you are not subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel, we do this every single day, and today is Monday, which means we are giving away the Ledger Nano S. That'll be at the end of the video. If you missed your opportunity, you could drop a comment on literally any video throughout the course of the week, and you are eligible. Now, having a quick refresh live, you do notice Bitcoin dominance is actually going down about 0.2% since I woke up this morning, so you are seeing a lot of the altcoins in green today. In fact, you have some still pumping: Augur 18%, Eternity, Decred, Nexo, Chili, Cosmos, Litecoin, Metaverse, Hypercash, Energy. In fact, quite a lot of altcoins in the green today, right? We will take it. Now, having a look over here at on-chain FX, actually, let me pull this up. You could basically see essentially that we still have very, very low volume, okay? We only have about 188 million for Bitcoin, 515 million for Tether. So we are looking for, kind of a big move, essentially, when you have this low volume and you are at the end or like at the apex, right, of a triangle, at a wedge, right, like we are right now. Well, we could be looking for a big move. And currently it does appear that the longs are pulling ahead slightly today at 51.7%. Now, if I actually pull this up, I want to show you guys that we are in fact still above the 200 daily moving average. You can see we've tried to touch it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. We've been respected every single time. So this is showing us that, which it was acting as resistance, it is now support. This is actually good. Also talking about the fact that we are kind of still stuck in this range between that $8,824 level and $9,434. Now, if we do break above this, do keep in mind we still have some of this resistance right here, which if we were to break out today, that would actually be right around $9,980. I would expect massive resistance right now for Bitcoin, but short term, getting above 9,400 is really what we're looking for. I do want to just point out something super quick though. We have been supported by this $9,084 level, and the significance of this, as you can see right here, was essentially that this is where we wicked down to at the bottom of the triangle. Not where we closed, but where we wicked, okay? So sitting above that is definitely good short term, but really you want to kind of get above, the absolute base of the triangle, which is really the level that we're looking at. Now, zooming in right here, you could see that we are right now, as we speak, sitting right on the resistance of the triangle. You can see right here, and we are trying to break out. Now, we did wick down to about 9,250 this morning, but we did not keep falling. In fact, we turned around and tried to keep pushing upwards. So this could potentially be the breakout that we're all waiting for. And honestly, maybe by the time you're watching this video, you might already have your answer, because if we do get rejected, we're probably going to bounce back down, to around this sort of $9,100 level. But keep in mind, we don't have a lot more room to go. So if Bitcoin, basically it's going to make a decision soon is what I'm trying to say. The farthest we're going to go is about, midday through November 6th before Bitcoin has an absolute move, which we do know that usually Bitcoin does not get to the end of these patterns, right? It usually breaks out sooner or later, which is why I am expecting it. Now, I do know that currently a lot of people are still anticipating us to fill the CME futures gap, which is around $8,885. Now, if we were to dip to that level, we probably won't stop there. You could see us actually push downwards to around even potentially 8,500, but I would expect a quick wick back up above these levels, even back above the 200 daily moving average. If we don't close the gap, well, then we could head all the way back up to, 11K, 16K, but I still think that this gap will continue to loom over a lot of traders. However, we do have BTC monthly confluence looking quite positive according to Hornhairs. I'm not going to go into all the details, but essentially he says, I like the chance we hit $14,000 before $7,000. Okay, so even if we were to see the CME futures gaps get filled, it's most likely that we're not going to go below $7,000. In fact, I don't think we're going to go below 7.2. Pretty much, I think that was sort of the bottom. That was the Fibonacci level, right? And having a look over here, talking about that measured move that we spoke about yesterday, like I said, if I do bring the flagpole basically up to here, you are looking at about that $13,885 level, or we might as well just round it to 14K, right? So that's why I'm not saying it's going to happen today or tomorrow or even this month, but you can see right here, essentially by the end of December, early January, you are looking for a massive move. And considering that we've been supported by the $8,275 level, I don't think we're going to go any lower than that. So I would say that around 8.2 to 8.3K is the absolute, bottom short to midterm. And then I do believe we are looking for a massive pump when, I don't know, but I do have a target of over, $13,885. So that is what we are looking at. Also talking about the fact that we do have backed volume basically exploding, okay, in the past couple days, especially the past week alone. Also the fact that, like I said, over here, the total, basically looking at what the CME is doing right now, they finally found some consistent increase in their open interest in institutional Bitcoin long positions. So the institutions are actually starting to bet long on Bitcoin. And you can see as the total approaches 1.5 thousand Bitcoin, some analysts are predicting that we could see a breakout to even higher numbers. And I think currently we're kind of sitting at that point right now where Bitcoin is trying to push out. And if we do get rejected, we don't have a lot more opportunity to keep bouncing around in this pattern. So if Bitcoin pretty much gets rejected hard one more time, we're probably going to go down and fill the gap. I'm just going to say that right now. But, talking about some of the fundamentals real quick, this came out from Ron Paul, and you can see he says the dollars that you work hard for are always buying less and less, yet the government tells you that there's not enough inflation. The Fed is a government-created monopoly that counterfeits dollars by the trillions, and you're supposed to believe that this is capitalism, right? Well, actually, hopping over here, you could see that 100 years ago, $100 would basically buy you the same amount of food, clothing, and household necessities that it would cost you $2,500 today. This type of inflation is simply unsustainable, right? And, a lot of people are saying, well, how many Bitcoin do I need? How many do I need to hold in order to be financially free? Well, Charlie Shrem says, honestly, the best way to hold Bitcoin forever is to get 5 to 10 Bitcoin and keep it in cold storage that even you can't access. I truly think that 5 to 10 Bitcoin will be super life-changing money in 20 years from now. Everything else just spend and use as you want. Now, 2 things. Number 1, most people are impatient and will not be able to simply hold on to something for 20 years. And number 2, most people don't have $90,000 plus sitting around to buy 10 Bitcoin, right? However, that is the beauty of dollar cost averaging, right? If you just put a small portion away every single week, 10% or whatever you're comfortable with, not financial advice, you will have the opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin. But hey, listen, if you can't get your hand on 10 Bitcoin, all right, you might be asking a bit too much. Let me just break something down for you really quick. And you can see from this tweet over here from Binance America, basically breaking it down, there's 21 million Bitcoin in the world. Now, keep in mind that we estimate around 4 million of them are lost forever, right? So 21 million Bitcoin, 7 billion people, even though it's actually closer to 7.4. But anyway, that's roughly 0.003 Bitcoin per person if everyone in the world today said that they wanted some Bitcoin. So I know that doesn't seem like much to you right now, but if you are holding more than 0.003 Bitcoin, well, then you are already ahead of the 7 billion people on the planet that don't have their hands on any Bitcoin just yet, okay? So just think about that and think about those numbers. And I know that we want to get super rich overnight, but the long-term game is, it's definitely in your favor if you're holding some Bitcoin. And I just say, try your best, okay? I know it's difficult, but I just say try to hold 1 Bitcoin, put it away, forget about it, right? I do think 1 Bitcoin at these prices is attainable with dollar cost averaging, even for people that, it's difficult to even find that little extra cash. But, I'll tell you a true story, guys. When I first got into Bitcoin, I was spending my entire, I was eating like ramen straight up, man. I mean, I was just every dollar I could get, I was just going into Bitcoin. Not saying you should do that, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. But you know, just pointing out, essentially, I wanted to point out what Ann Corinne said. Now, she's from the Institute of Analysis of Global Security, and she was basically saying that this is simply unsustainable. Okay, she says that the European Union, China, Russia, etc., are basically looking to get away from the dollar, okay, essentially. And, you know, she says that they don't necessarily think it's going to be moving from one fiat to another fiat. In fact, it could even be something like cryptocurrencies. I'm not going to play the whole video, but essentially this is how she summed it up at the end.
So there's a lot of motivation among powerful players around the world. And so the question is not, after the dollar, are we moving to the yuan? I don't think that's the right way to look at it. I mean, now we have emerging technologies, we have cryptocurrencies, we have all sorts of different things. So I think what we do know for sure is this situation is unsustainable, okay?
And I think the governments are actually starting to realize that no matter how hard they actually try, they simply can't ban Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, right? They can try, they can cut off the ramps, they can make it difficult for purchases. But ultimately, if I want to send you some Bitcoin, who's going to stop me, right? So that is basically the situation that's happening out there. And I also want to point out what you had Dan Tapiro. Now, he's from DTAP Capital. Deutsche Bank imposing a negative interest rate for wealthy account holders will lead younger generation investors to Bitcoin, he says. He says gold should benefit as it is cheaper to hold than cash and will appreciate as an alternative store of value. Younger generations should all hold Bitcoin as well. Now, I say not financial advice on this channel. This is a guy that can give financial advice, and he is suggesting that, you know, basically you have some Bitcoin. Bitcoin has not sufficiently demonstrated qualities of a safe haven asset just yet, or inversely correlated asset to the equities market. But here's the interesting thing. With Bitcoin not being correlated with both safe haven assets and equities, you had Ampleforth's CEO coming out and basically saying that it could appeal to a certain base of investors. It's helpful that it's volatile in a way that's not connected to other assets. There's been almost 10 years of data to suggest that the coin has almost no risk exposure to precious metals, commodities, equities, currencies, and so on, right? And this is actually kind of appealing. The fact that essentially Bitcoin is the honey badger, right? It just doesn't care. It does whatever it wants. And one thing I wanted to talk about super quick, this is like a bit of a, not a conspiracy, but okay, so we had this massive pump, you know, when basically on the 25th, I'm sure if you were watching, it was a crazy day in the markets. Well, there's actually another theory that it wasn't just President Z. Some people are saying it was actually because of this, essentially, what was it? Oh, they say there's a reason to believe that there have been regulatory approvals that could soon put Bitcoin in front of the 11 million investors that total more than 1 trillion in assets through TD Ameritrade. So essentially they're talking about ErisX, right? So on the day that we had the big price surge, they said that one of the Bitcoin product filings was the ErisX Bitcoin futures. And keep in mind, this would be a physically delivered Bitcoin futures as well. So some people also were speculating that that had something to do with the pump. I just wanted to just throw that in there as well. I like to cover all aspects and all possibilities, right? Now, on a side note, I do want to talk about crypto exchanges have now been sort of popping up left and right and demanding KYC, which is know your customer. Now, some of the advantages of non-KYC, you know, are that, you know, you have a little bit more privacy, right? But regulation is getting quite tough out there. And you can see DX Exchange, Crypto Bridge, and Cryptopia have all recently said if you want to withdraw your funds that are on there, you now have to actually enter your KYC. So kind of crazy, right? Your money was sitting on there, no problem. But now you want to get your money off? Well, got a KYC, right? So this is why I say, you know, just don't keep your money on exchanges. If you're not actively trading, there's no reason not to. I mean, put it on a ledger, you know, put it on a cold storage. I mean, obviously, if you are, you know, actively trading on something like Bybit. Oh, look, we're actually trying to pump up right now. Are we actually starting the pump? Could this be the pump, guys, that we've been waiting for? Well, we're going to know by the end of this video. But essentially, yeah, I mean, even if you're trading over on Bybit, I mean, I understand that you want to have the Bitcoin there in case you want to catch a move. But, you know, as much as I trust Bybit, I love using Bybit, still don't trust them with a lot of my money. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take the money off. You got to put it on your hardware wallets. Please be safe out there. And yeah, man, exchanges holding people's money hostage for KYC info. That's pretty crazy when you think about it. So also having a look at you know, what's been going on with Bitcoin and gold. Not much to talk about. Bitcoin has actually pulled ahead of gold in the recent month, even though we did have a few few couple months of slumps, right? But I do want to point out that that has turned green. Also having a look at ICE, let's give this a refresh, 132, 136. All right, it's not amazing volume. I would hope for a little bit higher. But before we go, I just wanted to point out that there's this website, bitcoin-realestate.com. And if you're interested, you can actually buy real estate with cryptocurrencies. In fact, yeah, look at down here. They have, this house is 200,000, 350. Look at this. This is $1. Wait, what? I don't understand that one. But essentially, yeah, Majestic Contemporary Estate, Nassau, Bahamas. So if you want, you guys can come over here, and if you got that kind of dough, you can yeah, essentially buy a house using Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, or Ethereum or ETH. So there you guys go. You can go to Bitcoin Real Estate, and I just want to end on one kind of funny story. So Bobby Lee essentially said that on his flight from LA to Shanghai, he bumped into Bruce Willis, and he said that he took the opportunity to talk about Bitcoin. He said he didn't know much, so he showed him, you know, how to use Bitcoin and how to spend Bitcoin on wallets. Now, some people are kind of saying, I don't even believe that you spoke to him from this picture. This looks like you just tried to take a picture when he wasn't looking. If you really spoke with him, why didn't you take like a, you know, selfie kind of picture? I don't know, guys. Whether or not he actually spoke to him, you know, I don't know. This is just basically the situation. So you let me know what's going on with that. But we do need to give away a Ledger Nano S. Now, unfortunately, last week there were only 5 videos because I was traveling. So if we, okay, 4. So that would be Saturday's video. So let's go here.
Have you?
And this. All right. Let's see what we got here, guys. 624 unique comments. All right, drum roll, please, for the Ledger Nano S. Jeff Long, have a good week. Jeff, your name is Jeff Long. Are you long right now, Jeff Long? Well, yes, I hope you have a great week as well, because you just won the Ledger. Now, you didn't mention the Ledger, but that's fine. You're eligible. Everyone's eligible. So basically, yeah, if I don't hear from you within 24 hours, well, then we'll give it away to somebody else. So if that's it for me today, guys. So essentially, if you need to get a hold of me, Jeff, you can go to my official Telegram, which is the only link I have up here, or you can go to my About section, which does have my official email. But let's have a look. Bitcoin is, Bitcoin's pumping right now. It's pumping. We're pushing on it. So where are we on the, did we break out? Oh my goodness. Look at this, guys. We officially are now this doesn't, we have to close above it. Keep in mind, we definitely have to close a 4-hour candle and a daily candle above it. But man,